Design Week rolls on, and Jeff Shackelford is in studio for another installment of Architecture 101. He'll break down the 4 R's and talk template holes. Stay tuned to raise your golf IQ. And when it comes to style,
and of course architect himself, Jeff Shackelford.
Good morning, LT, Damon. Good morning to you. Good morning.
Good morning,
Jeff. Welcome back to Design Week here on a Wednesday. Excited about
I'm very excited. We love to spread the gospel of golf architecture.
And yesterday you touched on renovation and redesign as we're doing Architecture 101. Today, remodel restoration. Take us through.
Well, yeah, we have
Template holes. Tell us a little bit about template holes and what it means to the game of golf.
Yeah, this is a tricky one. You'll hear this talked about a lot, and it's one that I think some of us who love golf architecture, we are fascinated that people love template holes and are interested in them, but we're also a little concerned we don't want to stifle the art of golf architecture. It's a classic golf hole, really. This is how the great Jeffrey Cornish and Robert Muir Graves described it. It's a term used to describe any renowned hole, but restricted in design circles to the famous holes that have been widely adapted to other courses. And of course, we know these names now. You hear them all the time: the Redan, the Alps, the Cape, and Eden. And these are based on famous golf holes in Scotland and England and the UK.
Okay, example of a punch bowl.
The punch bowl, yeah, again, very self-explanatory. A lot of examples in Scotland, but I think the one that most people come back to is this one here at Cruden Bay. It's you see the green down in the bottom of the screen there, in the shadows because it's in a bowl, and it is, you throw that ball up there and everything feeds down to the bottom. It's a lot of fun to play to a punch bowl, but they're a little tougher to design than you might think.
This would be an opposite example of what would be a Donald Ross green, I guess, in that specific situation.
Most definitely.
One of the originals. You know, we're talking about template holes, and especially now in modern design, the question that I sort of have for you is, do you prefer architects who are building a new course to find template holes or to manufacture template holes? What, where do you stand on that?
Well, we want them to find the best holes, period. And when C.B. McDonald kind of brought these concepts over here, it was to improve golf architecture. It was kind of at a bad time. So we were trying to elevate the art at the time, and then the restoration movement has tried to elevate that. But ultimately, you want architects to find the best holes, and then if they find a natural situation, I think like we're looking at here, that's the ideal, that they can and maybe embed those old ideas into a new piece of ground.
Here we are in Inverness, Nova Scotia. We got the Google Maps version of a sort of a pie slice of what Corin Crenshaw had to work with in building Cabot Cliffs. And I was privy to some of the early, walking around and kind of routing decisions that Bill and Ben had to make in terms of coming up with their ultimate 18 on this piece of property. And I remember very distinctly walking around with Bill and him saying, well, here, look, we were sort of driving out of this part of the property before, any development had been done. And these were just sort of the wispy dunes of this part of the property. And he said, here we have a natural cape hole where there was a green sort of, what could easily be a green right here and a tee here with this sort of open area, sort of that water that, as the tide comes in and out, this becomes water. And to your point, you can bite off as much as you decide to do there. So it was a natural cape hole, playing to a 6th tee here with a 6th green here, where someone had done some excavating of some of the dunes many years before that, and it was a natural punch bowl. He loved these two potential holes, but there was a routing issue of how to get from the 6th green to what would ultimately be a 7th tee and a 7th fairway up there. It was actually Ben Calendur, Mike Kaiser's partner on this project, that kind of helped Corin Crenshaw unlock that project. So they had found two template holes, but they were going to struggle to figure out how they were going to fit into the routing. To their credit, they did. It works, and now you have these natural holes, and it's a key element to why the front nine is as spectacular as the back nine.
Well, and if Ben and Bill are finding template holes, they try to find their own original ideas, but when they find them, then it must be great ground.
Yeah, and it's so much fun to look for these and to play them. More importantly, LT, hopefully in Architecture 101, you learned something.
Yeah, that is